everyone, so what am I working on now? I got this 03, I believe it's an 03, Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's a 4.7 V8. Customer's complaint is a check engine light. He said he cycled the key to get the codes, and he gave me the codes. Honestly, I didn't write them down because I never go off of what a customer says. I want to say one was a Misfire and there was something else. But I got my scanner because I want to hook my scanner up. But let me show you. I've showed you this several times in the past, but let me show you again. So there is the odometer. There's the key. It's actually in the run position now. I'm going to turn the key off and then on 3 times, stopping in the on position. Ready? Off, on, off, on, off, on. PO330. I do not know what that code is. PO301. That's a Misfire cylinder number 1. And done. Okay. So let me plug the scanner in and let's see what this thing has actually got in it. Because I have found in the past that sometimes beyond that key trick, you'll have other codes in it. So while I got this thing going, if you're liking my videos, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Tell your friends to subscribe as well. I can never say subscribe twice for some reason. I don't know why. I guess ring that bell, whatever that's supposed to mean. I think it's supposed to mean if you do that and I make a new video, you'll get a notification that I made a new video. All right, let me put the phone down so I can actually hook this up. Now with the launch scanner, when you plug it in, provided you have a good connection and stuff like that, and you're actually communicating through the CAN bus or whatever the communication net protocol is, you'll get this on a scanner before it's ever turned on. Look at that little green light there. And what happens too is that'll come on, it'll actually shut down, and you'll get a screen that shows what the state of charge is. Then that'll shut off and it'll go back to green. So it's on a full charge. So let me actually start this thing up. Power button's up here. Now while this loads up, it should automatically self-populate with the vehicle once I get it to that point. I'm actually going to start the vehicle before it gets there, because I could see the reflection of the lights, the interior lights, and I thought they were kind of dim. This is kind of nonsense, but I guess they do it as a gimmick. I tell you, I'm really enjoying this scanner. Somebody just messaged me on my Wrenching with Kenny. Oh, actually, look at that. The VIN's not recorded, or either the VIN's not recorded in the PCM, or this is too early to actually do that. It might be too early, being an 03. But somebody had just asked me on my Wrenching with Kenny page on Facebook, what's a good scanner to use, in the $200 to $300 range. Well, this is in the $300 to $400 range, and I think this thing is fantastic. I really, honestly do. I picked this up to get a halfway decent scanner beyond my Snap-on to see what it could do, and I didn't expect it to be as good as it actually is. I'm going to actually skip this. Yeah, it does not support automatic detection. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to go to diagnostics. What I'm going to do is, I don't know who it was that messaged me on Facebook or who put the post up on the Wrenching with Kenny page, but I will get there and I will tonight, and I will put a link up for this scanner. Like I said, it's extremely good. I'm very, very, very impressed with it, especially for the price. Now, is Jeep separate or is it through Chrysler? I don't recall. J. Okay. Okay. This is actually the first one I've used the scanner on that it wouldn't detect, self-detect. First vehicle, that is. We're going to go with the 16-pin connector. It's a Jeep. And it's an 03. Let me just double check that. Hold on a second. Yep, it's an 03. Grand. Let me do a system scan. Okay, all it's going to do is tell me it's equipped. I don't care about that. So I'm just going to stop this. Oops. All right, system selection, PCM. Read fault codes. DTC info. Okay, so it's only the two. Alright, so knock sensor number 2 circuit. That's probably a bad knock sensor. Cylinder 1 misfire. That could be injector, could be a valve, it could be a coil, could be a plug. Who the heck knows? Is it a current misfire? We're going to have to find out. Let's see. So, and the guy who was asking me on my Facebook page, Wrenching with Kenny, he asked me about a scanner that would give you help. This one has code search and help. Let's see, what does help actually give you? Can I find a description? Okay. That might be because this is too old. But here, if you hit code search, it brings you up to YouTube videos. So, and it gives you stuff to help you with that. To find a scanner like my Snap-on that has the more detailed information, you're not going to find one for anything less than what this scanner is. And like I said, this scanner won't give you direct info like my Snap-on will, but my Snap-on scanner, you're talking $5,000. This one for under $400, absolutely worth it. So let's just go back. 330. I wonder if that gives you anything. Cannot find a description in help section. Okay, so I'm going to actually have to look up and see what's going on. But now let's just back out of this because I want to watch data to see if it shows anything. Let's see, what's the freeze frame data? 1 and 2. This is good because it's a snapshot of what happened when the code was set. Let's see. See on the bottom here it says 2 out of 3, so that's the second page. And it gives you all this information, and then 3 out of 3. Okay. So I'd have to look up what some of this information means. I do not know it off the top of my head. See, like, freeze frame caused by TTC 177 hex. I have no idea what that actually means. And 773. No idea what that means. I'd have to look it up to see if I couldn't figure it out. Here's page 2. And here's page 3. Alright, so that really doesn't give me anything that's useful at the moment. It can be useful if you're trying to track down an erratic code or a code that doesn't happen often. Let's see. Data stream? No, I don't think it's in data stream on Chrysler, if I'm not mistaken. Misfire monitor test. Is that the one I'm looking for? I think so. A lot of warnings. So cylinder number 1 is misfiring. You can see that. Cylinder number 2 is also, but I have found when you have a slower misfire like that, a lot of times it'll be caused by the first misfire. So if you have one main misfire, don't go after another one. Try to fix one at a time, because a lot of times the second misfire can be straightened out by fixing the first one. So where do I go from here? I think I'm going to go with, let's pull a coil and a plug out of this thing and see what we got, see what it looks like. And I gotta look it up. I don't remember knock sensors on these things. On the 4.7s, I think they're under the intake. I don't recall. I think they are. Could be wrong. Could be on the side of the block. Let me look it all up and I'll get back to you. So here we are underneath the hood. That's cylinder 1 there. Some people have often asked me, how do you know which is bank 1 or cylinder 1 on a car? If you look, I've explained this before, but this cam or this valve cover is further forward, closer to the water pump and accessories where the belts are. If you look, it's in line here. This one is further back, so that's bank 2. All the other cylinders, cylinder 1 starts here. It could be 1, 3, 5, and 7. I can't count today, and 2, 4, 6, 8 on that side. Some vehicles, like Fords, will have 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 on that side. So just be mindful of what you're dealing with. So, cylinder 1, that's an original coil from what I could tell, especially because of the paint marks. So I'm going to pop that coil out of there, and then I'm going to pull the plug out and take a look and see what we got. So I got the coil out. It's just a nut on the top there, and it came right out. Obviously a connector. It don't look bad. I mean, I see some marks down here, so I'm kind of wondering, is it possible? I don't know. But what I'm going to do is, just as easy, I'm going to pop 5 out. And I'm going to switch 5 and 1. And see if the Misfire moves. Alright, so I got 1 and 5 swapped. And I noticed too, this breather hose was never attached. So now, let's start it up. I'm not bolting them down, there's no need to. It doesn't act like a ground or anything on these. So, let's get our fat butts in the car. Oops, sorry. Start it up. Okay. And now we have no misfires. Interesting. Let it run for a minute. Cylinder 6 shows 1, but I'm not concerned about that. Every once in a while, just having 1 is not a big deal. Alright. So cylinder 2 is still, oh look at that, cylinder 2 is still showing. Cylinder 5 is not showing anything, and now cylinder 1 is not showing anything. Interesting, right? There's 1. I'd be willing to bet the spark plugs are probably shut on this thing. Alright. Let me back out of this. Let's actually pull a plug and see what that looks like. End session. Yep. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Yes, I want to exit. No, I didn't want to exit that far. Damn it. History. Quick access. I want to go back into it. Alright, I'm going to let that load up and then I'm going to shut the car down. I just wanted to get into the system. That's all. Alright, I know you're communicating. Let's go. Alright. That's all. I'm going to shut it down. Alright, let's pull a plug and see what it looks like. So there we go. That's the plug out of 5. The reason I took out 5, it's actually easier to get to because 1, I actually got to take the air cleaner assembly off. But you can see that thing is pretty well worn out. Look at that. So, all right. I wonder what the actual gap is. I wonder what it opened itself up to. I got to find out what the gap is supposed to be. Let's go find out. Alrighty. So there you see, I didn't open it up or anything. That's the same gap as it was. And we are at about 87 thousandths. That plugs are wiped out. So we are definitely going to have to get a set of plugs in this thing. I think plugs will straighten this thing out. As far as that goes, I got to see if he wants to do the knock sensors. If you're going to do one, you may as well do both because you got to take the intake off. I don't recall if these things are notorious for rotting the wiring out or if that's the GM 5348 6-liter I'm thinking of. These might be. There might be an issue there. I just cannot think of it. So, all right, let's see what happens. In case I didn't mention, a plug gap was supposed to be 40 thousandths. More than double what it's supposed to be. Now, I took the airbox and everything else off so this way I can get to all the plugs. Because I'm going to change the plugs first. Here's the first 3 from this side. They're all pretty wiped out. That's plug 1, 3, 5. The 5 was the one you saw before. I didn't get to 7 yet. Let's see. These 2, I took the first 2 coils out. Got to get those 2 coils out and back. If you're doing them on these 4/7s, even 3/7s, unbolt the dipstick tube. Pull the dipstick out so it's not flopping all over the place. And just easily maneuver it out of the way. You know, you're going to go one way or the other with it. This way you can get the coils up and out because they can tend to be a little bit of a pain. Let's see. The two rear coils on these things, they run an engine ground. If you look closely, you see the ground strap that goes to it. That's actually an engine ground itself. It's the head ground, because those bolts go down into the head. So don't forget to put those back in place. All right, basically I'm going to just get what I need to get those two last coils out. It's a little tight, but we'll get them out. The front three plugs on this side and the front two plugs on that side are easy to get to. You can go, straight down and have a ratchet on it, no problem. The back one on this side, you got to drop the socket down. You see I'm using a very long socket. This is going to come in really handy. Let's see, I'm going to do that. And sometimes you got to play around with different extensions to find something that's going to fit. All right, so that should work out. All right, we're going to do that and get that plug out. Unfortunately, I can't film this right now. Sorry about that. So now that it's broken free, you can go in there and twist it out. Now, sometimes what you got to do is you got to disassemble your assembly here in terms of take the extensions off and stuff like that. That's why I like to use the locking extensions if at all possible. Oh, this one I can get out. Okay. And it's funny, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to a car, changed the spark plugs, and I realize somebody didn't change the difficult plugs. So they're just worn. Now, same thing on the other side. Now, to gain access to the back plug here, this is the knock sensor harness, this here, and it kind of wraps over it. You got to disconnect it. I mean, you could do it without doing it. I just find it much easier to disconnect it and move it out of the way so you can get your socket down in there. And now that longer extension that I was using, I can't use because it'll hit the cowl. So unfortunately, I do not have a shorty like that locking extension. Get my ratchet on there. And let's break that free. I can't do this one-handed. So there you go, that's coming out. So as it turns out, I just heard from the parts store, and they did not have the right spark plugs in stock, so I'm not going to have them until first thing in the morning. Come on, stay over there. Stay out of my way. Okay. So I'm not going to see them until first thing in the morning, which is fine. I don't care all that much. It's 5 o'clock right now. Not like I would finish this anyway tonight. I don't know if it made a difference because it's an HO or not. Because he called me back and said, oh, I actually do not have them in stock. Okay. So now, just gotta work that up and out. And there we go. And they've all been changed. So, all right. That's it for today. I'm going to clean up. We'll resume this video tomorrow. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for this one. We'll finish up in the morning with the replacing of the spark plugs, and we'll see if it still has a misfire. I'm going to think it's going to clear it up, but we'll find out. Alright, that's it. Thank you. Have a great day. Keep wrenching.